Far in the vast, harsh Mongolian steppes, a child was born. In his hand, he held a blood clot. This was a sign. One day, he would shake the world. This child's name was Temujin, and he would go down in history as Genghis Khan. Are you ready? Here are 10 facts we present to you. Fact 1. The child born with blood. Temujin. A storm was born in the Mongol steppes. In the endless gray wilderness, the sound of a baby's cry echoed from a tent. This was no ordinary birth. The newborn child held a blood clot in his right hand. His mother, Hoelun, with trembling hands, embraced her son, feeling something, a fear, a power, a sorrow, and an unwritten fate. They named this child Temujin, after a warrior taken captive by his father's enemy. At that moment, no one knew that this little child would one day make thousands of cities kneel, erase empires from the face of the earth, and carve his name among the greatest rulers in history. Fact 2, the story of his name. Who was Temujin? When Temujin was born, he held blood in his hand. But his father's mind wandered to something else. An enemy, a Tatar warrior, his name, Temujin. This man had once fallen at his father's hands, but he had been remembered for his courage. Yesugei gave his son this name. He said, "You too must be fearless like him." This name was a symbol of vengeance. It was a game with fate. For the fearful, a curse. For those who rise, a symbol of victory. Temujin grew up, and his name spread across the world. But one day that name changed. He was no longer Temujin, he was Genghis Khan. Fact 3, the death of his father and the family's abandonment. Temujin was still a child, but fate did not want to leave him as one. When his father Yesugei returned from a hunting trip, he encountered a group of Tatars, once his enemies. Without hesitation, Yesugei shared bread with them. A few hours later, he began to feel pain in his stomach. He had been poisoned. He could not make it home. On the way, he died. Temujin was left without a father, a family without a leader, vulnerable to enemies. There was no longer any power to unite the clans. His family was abandoned. His mother, brothers, sisters, they were left to rot in loneliness. Relatives, friends, and servants, everyone abandoned them. Only the cold steppes, hunger, and hopelessness remained. But this was not the end. It was the beginning, because that one child, Temujin, would starve, fight, and one day make the world kneel. Fact 4, killing his brother, a bloody choice. Temujin and his family were living in hunger. After his father's death, they were abandoned by the clan that had once supported them. Life had become a constant struggle. Every root, blade of grass, and even a rat was precious. But his older brother Börte was not living by the same principles. He hid part of the meat he hunted and refused to share it with the family. This was not just greed, it was a blow to the unity of the family. Temujin and his younger brother Kasar could not tolerate this injustice. They would not accept it. One day Temujin took his bow, aimed it at his brother, and shot. The arrow struck Börte. He fell to the ground and never rose again. This was a turning point in Temujin's life. That day he lost not only a brother, but also his childhood and innocence. He now understood, to survive, sometimes the hardest decisions must be made. Fact 5, the betrothal to Börte and true love. When Temujin was still a child, his father, Yesugei, took him to a neighboring tribe. It was there that Temujin became betrothed to Börte, the chief's daughter. What seemed like a political marriage at the time, however, would grow into something much more profound. Over time, the bond between them transformed into true love. Börte was not just a woman in Temujin's life. She became his unwavering support. During the toughest moments of his life, when he was abandoned, betrayed, and faced with adversity, Börte was always there. She was not only his wife, but also his confidant and the source of strength in his darkest hours. For Temujin, Börte was more than just a partner. She was the first and most valuable ally of the empire he would build in the future. Their love was not just emotional, it was built on trust, loyalty, and unity. Fact 6, Börte's abduction and the rescue mission. Temujin and Börte had just married. Their relationship was more than a political alliance. It was deep and unwavering love. However, their happiness was short-lived. One night, the Merkits launched a sudden attack and abducted Börte. This was a devastating blow for Temujin. Not only did he lose the woman he loved, but his masculinity and leadership were also questioned. Yet he did not retreat. He immediately took action. He allied himself with his old friend Yamuka and his ally Genghis Khan. Together, the three tribes united for one purpose: to rescue Börte. After a fierce battle, the Merkits were defeated and Börte was freed. This victory was not just the return of his love, it marked the first sign of Temujin's true leadership, a signal that he was destined to build an empire. That day, Temujin regained both his love and his faith in his own will. Fact 7. From friendship to deadly rivalry. Jamuka Temujin and Jamuka were childhood friends. They grew up together, sharing hardships, hunger, and every battle. Jamuka was Temujin's closest ally, his most trusted friend. However, over time, their paths diverged. Temujin sought to gain more power and build his own empire, while Jamuka pursued his own ambitions in opposition to him. This relationship, once based on friendship, transformed into a deadly rivalry, showing how two men who were once as close as brothers became fierce enemies. Jamuka could not accept Temujin's leadership and started a war against him. At first, Temujin didn't understand his friend's betrayal, but the battles and wars eventually destroyed their bond. Jamuka waged numerous wars against Temujin, and though Temujin defeated him in every battle, the betrayal and the broken connection deeply wounded him. This event symbolized not just the loss of a friend, but the moral suffering of a leader who had been betrayed. In the end, Jamuka became Temujin's greatest enemy, and this enmity lasted until Jamuka's final breath. Fact 8. The title of Genghis Khan. In 1206, all the tribal leaders gathered together. They all bowed before him. From that moment, his empire would cover the largest territories in the world. On that day, Temujin was given a new name, Genghis Khan, meaning ruler as powerful as the seas. From then on, there was no more Temujin. There was only Genghis Khan. His name sent tremors through the world, and his voice meant death. Fact 9. Religious tolerance and political genius. When Temujin was building his empire, he placed special emphasis on religious tolerance. He respected all religions and cultures, treating Buddhists, Christians, and shamanists equally. By embracing religious and cultural diversity, he sought to create a unified, strong society. This policy earned him both internal strength and foreign allies, as he ensured everyone could live as they believed. Fact 10. The search for immortality. Genghis Khan's end and step into eternity. Genghis Khan won every battle until the end of his life and expanded his empire. However, his greatest battle was against death itself. His death was kept a secret because Temujin wished to achieve immortality. He longed to become eternal. For this reason, his death was concealed with the utmost secrecy. No one was allowed to see his body. After Genghis Khan's death, people still wanted to believe he was alive. The area where his body was kept hidden was protected, and even those who could reveal the truth were killed. This event led to the legend that Genghis Khan had achieved eternal life. If this story moved you and you want to hear more intriguing historical moments, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. With every new story, more secrets and adventures await you. See you in our next video.